Alrighty guys, so this is the prep stage. If you can have a real good look at that skin. Not sure if you can see that. Look at the color. That's like a pinky color. Now when this first started off, it was more of a whitey sort of color. I've dried that skin uncovered in the fridge for a couple of days. Try to do more if you can. But yeah, you want it to have like a pinky color. It should start to feel hard. It shouldn't really feel soft at all. And that's the way we want it. Now we just got to prep this. That's what I recommend doing. Turn that over. Okay, let's reposition that. There we go. So I'm going to cut some cubes into it. Okay, just want to maybe measure where the midsection is, and then you just work out how many cubes you're going to get in there. Let's try this. And you want to cut it through, but not the whole way through. Obviously, we're just making it so we can have burnt end size pieces. Okay. So whatever width of burnt end, you're just going to have to work that out based on how wide your pork is. Okay, and then put this one on the end like that. Okay, and then I'll turn that around. So we'll do that again. Doesn't have to necessarily be even. The more even it is, obviously the more even she'll cook. Okay, put that out of the way. Okay, now we're going to get our rub. Get your favourite barbecue rub. Now what I'm going to do, I'm actually going to stick this on a rack now, because what you'll notice is, let's go pop that there. What you'll notice is that if you get any sugar on the skin, that it's going to be likely to burn. Any sugar, especially with the high heat, is going to create quite a bitter flavour. So we want to avoid that as much as possible. So I'm going to sprinkle this rub on. So you want to actually get right in the cracks as well. So you want to maybe open those up with your fingers. And basically apply that rub. Now normally I'd be recommending that you pat it on. If you want to get the rub to stick a bit better, you can actually spray it with a little bit of oil. I wouldn't necessarily go on with mustard or anything like that. Now what I generally do is I'll put my hand up against the side, just to act as a bit of a deflector, and that stops the rub, or basically keeps the rub on the surface. But I want to actually make sure that that gets in all the cracks there. Okay, so open those cracks up. Get that in there. Get that right in there so you get flavour in there. Now, last time I did this, I didn't do that. And you'd notice on some of the photos that come through, and I'll pop them in this video, that you could see that there was some sections where the rub hadn't penetrated, and I noticed that it was lacking a tad bit of flavour. Usually the saucing up section of this will assist with that, but if you want to make sure there's as much surface area contact with the rub as possible. So that should do nicely there. If you can have a look at that, guys. You can see, and I'll just pat that rub in now. Good coverage of rub, and now we're up to the cooking stage. We'll see in a moment. Alrighty guys, just a quick look at this. If you can see here, let's bring that up. I basically let that sit there for around 20 minutes, 15-20 minutes. You can see the rub starting to get wet. That's what you want to do. Yeah, just let it sit there for a little bit. You can spray some oil or some water just to help it along. But yeah, you want that rub to get a bit wet. And yeah, just simply leaving that for about 10-15 minutes will do that. Cheers, we'll come back in a moment. Alrighty guys, so we're just gonna pop her on here, and what you want to do is sort of, if you can get one of these rib racks or something similar, I just want that pork angled towards the fire. Make sure you don't put it on the other side, because I accidentally did that last time and the pork fell over and it fell onto the fire and I come out to a burning mess. So just watch out, and just keep an eye on this. You need to keep an eye on this, because literally it'll crackle up in about 10 minutes, and you just have to watch it that it doesn't burn. You may have to vary the distance back and forth, but also side to side depending on where your fire is. Now I've got one of the JG offset plates in this one. That I find them to be fantastic, but if you don't have that, just a basket will do, or set up some pavers and you can pour the charcoal behind that. But yeah, we'll come back in a moment. Now watch that like a hawk. You can leave the lid off. I have left the lid off before, and simply the heat coming over this will crackle that up. But what we'll do, we'll stick the lid on now, and you can actually just pop that on, and you want to actually leave the lid over on the corner, like a little gap on the side, and that will increase the airflow. But you want to be running at about 250 Celsius or about 500 Fahrenheit. Cheers. Look at that baby bubble. Whew. Okay, this is what I mean by watching it like a hawk. You can see it burning on the bottom edge there. Might want to flip it around at this stage. What I've done to get it to stand up straight, tucked a bit of baking paper behind there with a bit of wood in there, and I've stuck it in with another bit of wood. Just be careful there. Look at that baby crackle. Whew. She's going to be wicked. Alrighty guys, we're at the stage where we're going to pop this in the sauce now. Not sure if you can hear that, but you want that to sound hollow. I mean, you can see those bubbles have really bubbled up. Now if you have a look over here, there's a bit of moisture sitting in there. Ideally you want to, if you can, keep the pork on an angle. Anywhere moisture develops it's really gonna, I'm not sure if you can see that, sort of angle that there, you sort of see the reflection, like the glimmer, the glisten. Anywhere there's moisture, it's not going to be quite as good. That's actually reasonably hard, but you want to tap it, and it needs to be 90% like that hollow sounding all over. You see there's a couple of birds bits there. Don't worry about that too much. We'll get to that in a moment. So what we're going to do, you can do this just in a foil pan, but I've done this specifically. Okay, I'm going to get one of my favorite barbecue sauces. I've got the Smoke on Wheels bootleg. So I'm just gonna pour that on there. All right, put a fair bit on, and then what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna place that in there, smush that around a bit, just so it's sitting there simmering in the sauce. Okay. Just make sure it's got a good coating. Might want to have a look at the bottom. There's a bit of a hollow there. That'll be all right. Okay, and then we're going to stick that back on the barbecue and let that go for about another half an hour. See that there, guys? Okay, beauty, guys. All right, thanks. We'll see you shortly. Alrighty guys, we're about 20 minutes into that half an hour that I spoke of. It looks like the sauce is thickened nicely. I'm going to give this a bit of a poke just to see how we're looking. Come around here so I'm not over the heat. Okay, so you have a look at that. It's about 210 Fahrenheit. Okay, but if you have a look at that probe sliding in super duper easy. So that'll be melting your mouth. That's done. I probably only needed maybe even 15 minutes. Now, if you want it to melt in your mouth, especially at these temps, you want to be definitely over 200 degrees Fahrenheit, even over 205 degrees Fahrenheit. But just remember, this is really important. See how that just goes in and out, like zero resistance, in and out. Okay, that's what you're looking for. And that will totally melt in your mouth. Oh yeah. Alrighty guys, we're done. Okay, so as you'll notice on here, and I'll just get this out of the way, there's some black bits here. Okay, so you'll see some black bits here. All you want to do with those, I'll push this over to the side a bit. Just get a sharp knife. I'm not sure if you can see that. Slowly start scraping those bits off, because those black bits are going to be bitter. Okay, and you might want to wipe that off or wipe that on something. I'll wipe that on my glove there. Just scrape any of those bits that are brown. You want those off because it's likely to be bitter, and that will screw with the taste of it. So scrape that off, and you want to get all of that off. You don't need to see all this on camera. I'll get it all off, and then we'll come back in a second and slice it all up for you. Alrighty guys, now we come to the slicing. So as you might have seen on some of my other videos, I always slice upside down in these instances. Okay, so let's flip her over. Okay, now you can see there's a bit of a pocket where she sort of sat up there, but that's all good. That's not such a big drama. You can always base some sauce on that. Oh, listen to that. Oh. Pop this to the side. Let's grab these bits here. Now you might want to dunk it back in the sauce. Okay, so what we'll do. These bits didn't have all that much. There was that little pocket that sat up a bit. Have a look at that. See that, guys? Look at this. Okay. Look at that. Alrighty, guys. So you can dip that back in some sauce now. You can get a brush and brush some sauce on it. But that is done. Look at that, guys. Look how juicy that is. What you have to do, you can base some of that sauce on. Just dip it in the sauce in the bucket. Sorry, in the little pan that we made.